Hello, Year 10, and welcome back after your half term. And it is the start of a new topic, which is about Birmingham. So, Birmingham is our HIC case study city. You have your NEE LIC case study, which was Rio, and Birmingham is your one for HIC. And we choose to teach you Birmingham after UK economies because lots of the concepts and ideas that we learn about in UK economies trickle down really nicely into some of the content that you need to know for Birmingham. So our first lesson is to talk about the location and the importance of Birmingham. The first part of our learning journey today will be to identify UK cities on a map. The second part will be then to use geographical vocabulary and sources to locate Birmingham. And then finally, we're going to describe how Birmingham is important at those regional, national and global scales that you looked at during the Rio topic a few months ago. Before we get started, just make sure you have the equipment that you're going to need. So you're going to need the pen or a pencil and some paper. Open the Birmingham Maps document off the class charts assignment, and also there is a link to a word wall game that you will need for the first task of the lesson. So, starting with locating our UK cities, the part of your paper 2 exam that is called your urban futures, you need to know your HIC city in detail, and we've chosen Birmingham because we live here, it's relevant to us, but for your own geographical context and your wider world knowledge, you do need to know the location of some key UK cities, which I've listed below on the slide with all the pictures. What I want you to do is I want you to open the word wall link game, and I want you to play the game which asks you to locate all of those cities on the map of the UK. Moving on to the second part, the second part of our learning journey, we are going to locate Birmingham, and something we need to get you in the habit of, especially since we've missed so much time, is really using that geographical language that we keep going on about. And it sounds really simple and it sounds really basic in year 7-esque to keep going on about it, but it is super important. So I open up that Birmingham Maps document, and we are going to ask you to create a description which details the location of Birmingham. And on that Birmingham Maps document, there's lots of maps and figures which will help you find the information you need to complete the description list. So if you look at the yellow box on the side, you need to include compass points, north, east, south and west, as well as northeast, southwest, etc., to make it more specific. You need to think about regions, so West Midlands and all those types of places in the UK. And if it was wider world, it was like looking at the USA, you would think about the states. You need to think about continents and countries. You need to use scale if you can. If there is a scale bar and you can work out the distance of Birmingham to Wolverhampton, that gives you more marks. That shows the examiner you know how to use geographical skill and language. If you can include lines of latitude and longitude, so the obvious ones are the equator and the tropics, but we don't live on any of them. On some maps, you will see the little numbers which go along the map, and down the map, they will tell you the latitude and longitude. Neighbouring cities and grid references if it is applicable. You don't always have an OS map, so if that is not there, then you don't have to use it. You need to create a description of Birmingham's location. You can either just focus your attentions on the list and make it from that, or you can use the sentence starters that are in the green box. Work your way through the developing secure mastered version. That just tells you the things we would expect from each level of what you want to get in terms of your MG. If you finish that and you want to challenge yourself even further, you can do the super mastered question. So why has Birmingham's location allowed it to rapidly develop in the way that it did? The final part of today's lesson then is to understand why Birmingham was important on 3 scales. We looked at regional importance in Rio. So for Birmingham, it would be, why is Birmingham important to the West Midlands? Nationally, why is Birmingham important to the UK? And globally, why was Birmingham so significant to the rest of the world at one point in time? For example, Birmingham is home to the Boring, where it has one of the 2 Selfridges stores found in the UK. The other one is London. So does that make it important to the West Midlands? Does it make it important to the UK? Or does it make it important to the rest of the world? This one is national because you wouldn't have people travelling from all over the world to go to Selfridges, but you might have people travelling from Manchester or from Liverpool because it is closer as a Selfridges than it is London to those places further up north. Your task then is very quickly create this table, 3 columns: regional importance, national importance, and international importance. It might be really worth you adding in what it means, so regional to the West Midlands, as that is a reminder for you. Then you can open the YouTube link in the top corner. It is also attached on Clash Charts. I want you to watch YouTube video and try and add at least 2 facts to each column to say why Birmingham is important on that scale. So that's for developing its 2 facts. Secure is you need to be able to explain it. So Selfridges makes Birmingham important to the country because it is only one of 2 found in the whole country. And then for mastered, I want you to think about each reason of importance and think about how sustainable is that importance. So for example, if it is an importance that is based on tourism, is that something Birmingham can rely on forever? If you're struggling with the video and you're not really seeing any facts, there are 3 at the bottom that you must include in your table as a really key set of facts that I want you to know going forward in year 10 and 11. Just as a little side note, cultural institutes like the ICC and Symphony Hall are things like arenas where bands and things will go and play. So think about, will people need to travel from all over the world for that? Or they need to travel from all over the country? Or might they just need to travel within the West Midlands for that one? The other 2 are pretty self-explanatory. Do this task now. This brings us to the end of your first lesson of Birmingham for your new topic. So in terms of uploading things that link really nicely to your lesson journey, you need to upload the description of Birmingham's location, which ties in with the UK cities on a map and the geographical vocabulary task, as well as your completed table of importance for Birmingham, which describes the importance of Birmingham at various scales. And remember, if you have completed Secure and Master task, make sure it's really obvious to us as your teacher so we can see just how much effort you are putting in, and also it shows you where your progress is being made throughout this topic. Thank you for participating in your home learning, and we look forward to seeing and marking your work. Thank you.